So, how been ya? Welcome to the Black Country Craftsman's YouTube channel. This video is going to document me looking, purchasing and renovating a property for the rental market. Now firstly, let's talk about the area I'll be buying the property in. I live in an area in the centre of England called the Midlands. Now, the west side of the Midlands, from a city called Wolverhampton and a town called West Bromwich, that particular area is nicknamed the Black Country. Hence, my channel name being the Black Country Craftsman. The Black Country gained its name in the mid-19th century due to smoke from many thousands of ironworking foundries and forges, plus also the workings of the shallow and 30 feet thick coal seams. The region was described as black by day and red by night by L.U. Burritt, the American consul to Birmingham in 1862. So it's safe to say, traditionally, it's a very working class area. In our area, prices of houses are reasonable compared to other sections of England, mainly down the south, particularly London. The first thing I did was start to monitor the housing market for a while to get an idea of the present prices. There's a few property websites to choose from, so the search began. It's best at this point to get a mortgage approved in principle. Now, it's the law in the UK that if you are purchasing a house to rent, you have to have a buy-to-let mortgage. Also, most lenders expect you to have at least 25% deposit on a buy-to-let agreement. Also, you have a choice between an interest-only agreement or repayment one. An interest-only one is self-explanatory. You only pay the interest. The other, you repay the money you've lent back over a period of time. Advantages of an interest-only is the monthly repayments are lower, so you can make more money a month, but you'll never repay the loan off and never own the house. A repayment mortgage, you pay more a month, but at some point in the future, you'll pay the loan off and own the house outright. None of this is financial advice. I do recommend that you get a mortgage broker or a mortgage advisor on this case. And of course, the choice is always yours. Back towards looking for a house. The things I always look for are a 2-bedroom freehold house in a mainly private cul-de-sac or a close with off-road parking in a respectable area. So always look in areas that you know or have researched. I tend to go for houses that need work doing to them. Houses that need a little bit of TLC. New kitchen, bathroom, redecorating. You know the type. The reason I do this is most people tend to be put off by this, as paying someone to do all the work for you can be very expensive. Luckily, that's where I found I've got the edge, as I can do most things myself. Or, if I can't, I'll always know someone else that will help me. And that's the key. If you think by doing it yourself, it'll take you far too long, it may be cheaper in the long run to pay someone to help you and to get the house finished, to get it rented out and have income starting to come in. Check out how long the houses have been on the market, and if they've been reduced at all, that's a sign a deal can be struck. The house I ended up buying had been on the market a few months and had started at a much higher price and had been reduced over a period of time. So after a failed lower offer was rejected, I struck a deal on the second offer that was still lower than the asking price. Before you agree to buy a property, it is recommended that you calculate the rental yield. Now, rental yield is a percentage that indicates the amount of money a property owner can expect to make from their rental property each year. It's calculated by dividing the annual rental income by the property's market value or purchase price and then multiplying it by 100. Rental yield is a key financial metric for property investors and landlords. It helps them determine if a property is a good investment. Rental yield can indicate if a property is profitable and worth investing in. So, it's a very important factor to take into consideration when you're purchasing a property. Something else you need to consider is how do I go about renting the property? Shortly before I purchase the property, I book an appointment with the local estate agents that I use to rent my other properties out. This is a great way to indicate how much you'll be able to achieve per calendar month on the rent, on the sort of clientele you can attract, which will determine how much you need to spend on the refurb. There are two ways of approaching how much you need to spend. First one is refurb the property as cheaply as possible, where if the client you attract damages your property, you can return it to a suitable standard a lot quicker and obviously a lot cheaper. Second one is refurb it to a higher standard to attract a more professional client. There are never any guarantees that they will be any better looking after your property than anyone else. But the higher the standard, the higher you can charge for rent and hopefully attract the right person that will appreciate and look after your house. So if your worst nightmares do come true and you do have to evict your tenants, here are some guidelines you need to follow. Now, this information is widely available on Google. The notice periods, landlords must give at least 6 months' notice to tenants in new standard contracts unless the tenant has breached the contract. The existing tenancies, landlords must adhere to the new 6-month notice period from June 2023. The grounds for eviction. Now, landlords can evict tenants for certain reasons, such as non-payment of rent, antisocial behaviour, or if there's a break clause in the contract. Now, court orders. Landlords must apply to the court to evict a tenant lawfully. The eviction must be overseen by a county court bailiff or a high court enforcement officer. Now, an illegal eviction. If a landlord tries to force a tenant to leave before a court order has been made, it's an illegal eviction. So you can never put pressure or threaten any of your tenants to vacate your properties. So here in the UK, tenants do have a lot of rights, and rightly so. So it's imperative that you do try and get the best possible tenant that you can possibly get to look after your property. When my tenants first move in, I do tie them down to a 12-month contract, which a local estate agent will be able to sort out for you. Now, they will also sort out an itemised photographic evidence of what the property is like at the time they move in, just in case when they vacate the property, any damage that has been done can be proven. If this happens, the way landlords can get some money back if any damage has occurred is through the deposit that a tenant is expected to leave before they move in. This deposit has to be held by a government-approved tenancy deposit scheme. So you have to basically prove to them that damage has occurred and provide them with costs so you can obtain the money to put the damage right. Again, a good estate agent will be able to advise you on all of this and set it all up for you, for a cost, of course. So let's have a look. As you can see, all the houses are semi-detached or mid-terraced 2 to 3 bedroom starter homes in a pleasantly presented cul-de-sac. Here we are, the new project, a mid-terraced 2-bedroom house with off-street parking at the side of the house. So let's take a look at the new property. Okay, we've got a small little entrance hallway, and here's the main living room. The staircase in the living room directly upstairs. The front bedroom. Onto the small bathroom. Onto the small rear bedroom. Not too sure of them lights. We'll see. Back garden. Needs a little bit of work. I think a good few hours getting some weed killer on that should sort that out. Through to the kitchen. You're welcome to follow me over the next few months as I plan to transform this tired property back to something like it should be